These are times NHL players celebrated too early.
After reviewing the play.
And first, the Rangers puck came up short to spoil the party.
That shot goes in! Panarin! And let's see. It never crossed the line.
But this next celebration was an all-time disaster.
Yzerman in front again, another chance, and a big stop, and the puck's in. He was giving it the old, look what I got.
Talk about a celebration gone wrong. But Cody Eakin got so hype, he busted his ass.
Tucks it under the bar, an awkward celebration.
But this next player dropped the most precious item in the league, because Dominic Moore's hands went up with a goal staring right in his face.
And it goes in.
No, it's not in.
No, it wasn't in. They celebrated. I thought it was too. Fleury was down, the puck was behind him, and now it's still loose. And finally covered him. Malone getting in the battle now in front of the net.
But this next one had everyone confused, because the Maple Leafs got trolled by the side of the net.
It's back to the blue line. Riley's quick shot scores! No, it didn't. It's not in the back of the net.
It's in the side of the net.
It's in the side. The player's still on.
That one didn't go, it just got caught up in the mesh and looked like it did.
But they aren't the only ones tricked by the side of the net, because the Blues went completely blind.
Reeves and chuck on the line. They score!
Hang on a second here. This puck goes on the outside of the net. This doesn't go in the net. It never goes in the net.
But sometimes NHL players gotta wait for confirmation. I mean, the Knights started celebrating before the ref was done reviewing.
Crawford! Rebound! Score!
The net is dislodged. The other one is going to be the goaltender interference.
The call on the ice is no goal due to goaltender interference.
But this next moment really killed the vibe, because Patrick Kane called game and was on top of the world.
Kane scores! After reviewing the play, it was determined that the time was expired, therefore, no goal!
There's no way that actually happened. But this next player got taken out by his own teammates. See, the Avalanche celebration ended up with Ryan O'Reilly getting injured.
Is O'Reilly's going right to the locker room. I did not see what happened to O'Reilly on the play, but he went right down the hall.
But sometimes it's technology screwing players over. Look, Seattle's scoreboard stopped working in the third period, which had fans leaving the game way too early.
Now there's two giant boards in Climate Pledge Arena. They both show 0 on the clock. They just announced the game is not over. There's people walking up the stairs, people walking down the stairs.
This is a rare case where the horn actually sounded, ending the game, and that's a first for me.
But look, sometimes celebrations can go too far, because Artemi Nisimov scored a goal and dropped one of the most disrespectful celebrations ever.
A shorthanded goal! And we've got some after the goal stuff going on here.
That celebration ended up costing him 16 minutes in the box, which gave Tampa Bay the energy they needed for a comeback.
Dominic Moore, he scores! Here comes Gabrick. Saved by Garon, the Lightning win the shootout.
That bullet came back to bite him, but sometimes it's the fans who celebrated too early. See, after Steve Sullivan got whacked in the face, one fan started making fun of him.
The fans giving him a hard time, saying, that's right, kid, it's right there, that's where it is.
He was acting real tough behind the glass, so Sullivan let his game do the talking.
Gets one shorthanded goal on the same penalty kill, gets another one.
But the hockey gods weren't done teaching lessons, because that fan got to feel real pain.
Watch the puck as it goes around, bonk, it hits something, and now Sullivan comes over. This is the fan, same fan who was giving Sullivan a hard time, and that's his wife laughing with the thumbs up.
That's why you never start celebrating too early. But the Panthers made the dumbest decision of their careers. Now, during the 2022 playoffs, they were getting their asses whooped 3-0 against their state rivals, the Tampa Bay Lightning. But instead of getting some rest before embarrassing themselves again, they tiptoed into the nightlife like nobody was watching.
According to a very trusted source, a lot of the Panthers team, I don't want to say all of them.
Do we know how many?
A lot of them.
A lot is the word we got? Okay.
They were partying late into the night last night and found themselves at a local establishment in which there are women who dance for money on stages.
That 3 a.m. nightcap before Game 4 got their asses clapped.
Brendan Burke will follow us. Here's Bogosian towards the net. Gavronski, it's in, he scores!
But at least they weren't breaking the law, because one player traded ice for snow. See, just days before the 2014 playoffs, Malone was pulled over in Tampa for driving under the influence, and a quick search from police would be his downfall.
Well, good evening. Veteran forward for the Lightning, Ryan Malone, was arrested around 3:20 this morning, initially on suspicion of DUI, but he was later charged with possession of cocaine. A huge disappointment for Tampa Bay Lightning fans who viewed Malone as one of the good guys.
He was so ready to turn up, he forgot he was already carrying the after party. Instead of celebrating a deep playoff run, Malone got hit with a DUI and drug possession charge. And just a few months later, the Lightning got rid of his ass. But Alex Ovechkin was making promises he couldn't keep, because he was so confident in a 3-1 series comeback, he decided to call his shot twice. See, after a Game 5, Ovi made sure everyone stayed calm. We're going to come back and win the series. And to his credit, the Caps actually delivered and forced a Game 7. But Ovi was feeling himself after that win, so he doubled down.
We're going to play our game, and we're going to come back and we're going to play Montreal with Tampa.
And that would be one of the few times a legend made a big mistake, because Washington got smoked and the Penguins glided to the Stanley Cup.
Here's Gensel, feeding one across, score! And turned over again. Hornquist backhand, score!
Ovi tried to manifest a miracle, but all he got was another brutal Game 7 heartbreak. But this next playoff collapse was soul-crushing, because the Maple Leafs suffered the worst Game 7 collapse in NHL history. They were up 4-1 on the Boston Bruins with 10 minutes left. Fans were going crazy, because it looked like Toronto was finally breaking their Game 7 curse. But with 10 minutes left to go, Nathan Horton began the spark.
Net throws the puck out top, they score! Nathan Horton.
No big deal, right? Still a 2-goal lead. But then Milan Lucic kept them alive. 4-3 with 1:22 left. And now Leaf fans started clutching their chests. And just 31 seconds later, Patrice Bergeron ripped out their souls. The Bruins had erased a 3-goal deficit in the blink of an eye. At this point, you already knew how the story was ending. Overtime hits, and Bergeron stuck the dagger. He sent the Leafs straight into hockey purgatory. But the Red Wings' Stanley Cup dreams quickly turned into a nightmare, because a championship celebration ended in tragedy for Vladimir Konstantinov, who was just reaching his peak.
Vladimir Konstantinov, he was just coming into his prime. Probably would have been a candidate to win the Norris Trophy as the best defenseman in the league.
Now, Detroit had been starving for a championship for 42 years, but in 1997, the wait was finally over.
3 seconds left, into the zone, the Detroit Red Wings and the Stanley Cup champions!
The city erupted, the team partied like kings, and the celebrations were just getting started. But just 6 days later, the team's party, everything changed. Because the Wings hopped in a limo, the driver dozed at the wheel, and Konstantinov changed forever.
I'm at Woodward Avenue, just south of Big Beaver, and behind me you can see the tree that the limo hit tonight. It hit it with such force that it actually uprooted part of the tree and tore off about 4 feet of bark. Now, witnesses say that apparently in the left-hand lane of Woodward Avenue, southbound Woodward Avenue, about 9 o'clock, there was a pickup truck stalled there. And the limo was coming south on Woodward, apparently bringing the players and the masseuse from a golf outing that the Red Wings had had earlier in the day. For some reason, whether he was trying to avoid the traffic or he just didn't know where he was going, the limo went off Woodward Avenue and smashed into that tree.
The team's celebration had taken a horrifying turn. Konstantinov suffered catastrophic brain and spinal injuries. His career was over and barely hung on to his life. The entire team was shaken. And when the team took the ice for the 1998 Stanley Cup, they weren't just playing for a repeat. They were playing for Konstantinov.
Detroit Red Wings have won the Stanley Cup for the 2nd year in a row.
It was just destiny for us to win that cup.
But some players don't know what they've got until it's all gone. See, Evander Kane had all the talent in the world. But sometimes, even the biggest athletes can't stop the party. Because back in 2012, Kane was coming off a breakout season with the Winnipeg Jets and had recently signed a 6-year, $31 million extension. And with the spotlight on him, he went all in on the celebrity lifestyle. I'm talking flashy cars, partying, and the worst of them all, a serious gambling addiction. Now, while he was flashing stacks of cash, he was building a reputation for dining and dashing. And it wasn't long before his $1.5 million in gambling debts would get Kane involved with the law. Because a total of 6 houses had $26.8 million in total liabilities, compared to his $10 million in assets. So Kane owed $16 million in unpaid loans. And by 2021, $57 million of total career earnings was down the drain, and Kane declared bankruptcy.
I think there's one more hurdle to jump in the bankruptcy case, but I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. You know, part of it is a problem, is an addiction. It's sometimes it's hard to decipher, and there's different reasons at different points through a number of years I was doing it on why you make certain decisions and make certain choices.
But look, sometimes celebrating early actually works. See, the Penguins were down 3-0 in Game 6 against the Philadelphia Flyers in the 2009 playoffs, and it looked like it was completely finished. The Philly crowd was rocking, the Pens were getting dominated, and it felt like the series was heading to a Game 7. But then, Maxime Talbot did something insane. He picked a fight with Daniel Carcillo and got wrecked.
But they let the play go and drop the mitts.
I understand why Max Talbot is fighting here, but if you're Dan Carcillo, there's really no reason to engage.
Carcillo dropped him with one punch, and the Philly bench was lit. But as Talbot skated to the penalty box, he pulled out a taunt that looked stupid. I don't know why he was silencing, but he knew something they didn't, because Talbot's antics somehow lit a fire. Over the next 2 periods, Pittsburgh came back with an avalanche. 5 straight goals to complete one of the most insane comebacks in NHL playoff history. The 5-3 victory eliminated the Flyers on their own ice, and the Penguins rode that finger all the way to winning the Stanley Cup. So yeah, Talbot's early celebration looked dumb at first, but in the end, he got the last laugh. But for the craziest early celebration on the list, it was a lesson to the world. See, Patrick Steffen's empty net disaster is one of the most painful moments in NHL history. Now, it was a 5-4 game between the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers in 2007, and with just under a minute left, Steffen had a wide-open empty goal in front of him to seal the W. Everyone thought the game was over, but Steffen did the impossible.
And he'll ice it. Or at least I thought he was gonna until he blew it.
And if that wasn't bad enough, the Oilers grabbed the loose puck and rushed it down the ice to make things even.
And Hemsky's loose. Hemsky, he scored. Can you believe what we just saw?
Now, the Stars still won the game in overtime, but Steffen's embarrassing mistake was the ultimate example of celebrating too soon. Moral of the story, never count your goals before they're scored, especially when there's no goalie to stop you.